Hello everyone, welcome to Ton Time. Today we will be unboxing and taking a look at the Insta360 Link, a 4K AI powered webcam. This webcam has a lot of great reviews, and I wanted something to replace my current webcam that I'm using right now, which is this one that you see. This one, I'm using a Logitech Stream Cam right now, and I wanted something that focuses a lot faster because the focus speed on this camera is relatively slow, and I wanted to shoot in 4K as well. So can't afford high-powered DSLR cameras, so I decided to pick up this one here. So let's take a look at some of the specs on their website just to show you how powerful this webcam is at this price point. So I'm on their website right now. I'll put the link to the site below if you want to see more, but let's just go through this real quickly. The biggest thing about this camera is it is 4K resolution. It's got AI tracking. It's got versatility modes and gesture controls. So it's first thing is it's 4K. You could shoot at 1080 or 4K. I believe 4K it could do up to 30 frames, and 1080 it could do up to 60. So you got that option there, but 4K is definitely good, so that if you need to zoom in or crop or do anything like that, the image quality is a lot better than 1080. Another thing about this camera is, this is the biggest reason why I got it, is the image sensor for a webcam. Usually webcams have small image sensors. This one has a half-inch image sensor, meaning that it could take in more light. More light usually means better picture quality and better picture quality during low light situation as well. So that's definitely a good thing, especially if you're in dark rooms. So big image sensor is a big plus. It's got HDR as well, and this is also a good thing. The focus on this camera is really quick, as you can see. So I'll be demonstrating that later. I have my current webcam right now takes too long to focus, and if you look at my old video, it's kind of annoying watching that. So this one should focus really fast. This also is AI powered. It's actually on a 3-axis gimbal, as you can see. So it tracks you however you like. All controlled by software, so it could track your head, your body, full body, half a body. You could set that all in the software, which we will see later. Another cool feature is it's got this desk view mode where if your camera is mounted on the top of your monitor, if you go to desk view mode, it will look down on your desk, and then it will adjust the video to make it look like the camera is looking at a top-down view, bird's eye view of your desk without moving your webcam. It just simply moves the camera, as you can see in the image here, down at your desk, and it fixes the images for you so you can do presentations on your desk. So that's definitely awesome. It's got whiteboard mode, where if you put these little sensors on the side of the corner, it focuses into your whiteboard, and then you could do that for teaching or demonstrations on a whiteboard. So that's good. And overhead view, I'll definitely be using this mostly to do overhead view of product reviews and unboxing. So that's going to be my main focus here for this camera. You can also do portrait views also, and all that good stuff. So it's pretty versatile little camera, and it's got built-in privacy protection, where if the camera is off, as you can see, the lens or the camera just looks face down for privacy when it's sleeping. And it's got noise cancellation as well. So yeah, so this is a software it uses, and it's got awesome controls. So it works for Mac OS or Windows. So yeah, so it's pretty well packed for a small webcam. So let's look at the specs real fast. So video specs here, as you can see, 4K up to 30 frames per second, 1080 up to 60, 720 up to 60 as well. And here's all the specs here. I won't go into detail, but I'll put the link below if you want to check it out. It's USB-C connectivity as well. So that's some of the rundown of the specs for this camera. So let's go ahead and now take a look at the camera. Let's unbox it and see what is inside, and then we'll go through the software setup and we'll see the camera in action. Okay guys, so now let's go for the unboxing part. So let me show you the retail packaging. So retail packaging is relatively small. This camera looks big, but it's really not. As you can see, the box is like the size of my hand. So yeah, so this is the front of the box. Top. So got your standard images of the camera, some of the capabilities here. 4K video, half-inch sensor, AI tracking, rapid focus, whiteboard recognition, gesture control, noise cancellation mic, and privacy mode. And this is the stuff that it comes with. It has the camera, cable, adapter, the recognition marker, quick starter guide, and warranty card. So yeah, so box retail packaging is pretty simple, and it's pretty small carbon footprint for this. All right, let's go ahead and open it up. So I'm going to go ahead and rip off the packaging here. Okay, so upon opening, I believe there's a section on the bottom here that just kind of pops out. Okay, so upon opening, you see the camera right here. So this camera is very, very small. Look at this. Look at this. Size of my hand right here. So it's actually fairly weighted too. It feels pretty heavy for something this small, which material on it looks pretty high quality. Yeah, and it is on a gimbal. It's all motorized. So yeah, so it's pretty cool. So yeah, very, very small. I mean, look at this. If you can look at, it's only like 1 inch, a little bit over 1 inch wide, and like a little bit over 2 inch tall. So yeah, very small camera. Let's see what else is in the box here. So here's the guide here. They want you to do a QR scan on that, and then that's pretty much it for the box here. You just got this camera mold that it sits in. There's nothing else in here. So I'll put that back together, or I'll leave that aside. So this should have all the accessories for the camera. All right. That's everything. So you got a fairly thick manual, but it's in multiple languages. You got the warranty card, which is fairly thick, also in multiple languages. And this is the compliance information that no one reads, so no one ever reads these. You got a USB-A to USB-C adapter. So those of you who don't have a USB-C adapter, don't worry, you're covered here. That's good that they include that. Not everyone is transitioning over to USB quite yet. You got the markers for the whiteboard. So this is the one where you would put on the corner of the whiteboard, and you use a gesture, it will focus into the whiteboard for you. So it comes with that. And last but not least, the USB-C to USB-C cable, and the cable looks fairly long too. So they give you quite a long length for you to hook up the camera. So I don't know what the length is, but I guess I could kind of guess for you guys. So we're probably looking at maybe 50 inches long, but I mean that's kind of a guesstimate. But yeah, it's fairly long for enough to run on top of a big monitor, as you can see. So yeah, so it's not too bad. So this is everything that you see in the package here. And the camera, this is the camera itself, so it's a really small form factor. One USB port in the back, and I believe there's mics in the front. And it says double tap to recenter the lens here. The camera may get hot after extended use, so there's a couple of warnings on here. And then, yeah, they say double tap to recenter the lens, so I guess that's a thing here. So let me peel this off. So you got the two mics in the front, Insta360, and then you got your standard camera mount on the bottom if you want to mount that. And this thing opens up here and sits on your monitor here in the front of the frame. And this goes in the back to kind of hook the camera in. So yeah, so that's pretty cool there. For me, I won't be for testing. I'll probably put this on my monitor, but for the most part, I'm gonna use the mount and use this for my top-down view of my product unboxing. Since most of the video on my channel is usually a bird's eye view of this, so for me, it will probably be sitting like this. Yeah. So yeah, so that's the unboxing part of it, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and install this, and we'll see it in action, and we'll go through the software setup just to check everything out here. So I will be back. Okay, everyone. So I am now on the desktop here. I went to the website on this box that I showed earlier. There's a QR code and a little URL on the bottom. So the URL is insta360.com/link/guide. So as you can see, I'm here now. You have the controller software to download, and they have a tutorial video here which you could go through, and a text tutorial. You could get the PDF version of the instruction here as well. So I got the camera mounted onto the top of my monitor. This is temporary. I'm going to use this as my top-down view camera, but I just want to show you guys the features of this camera. So let's go ahead and plug it in. Okay, upon plugging it in, you see the blue light around there, so that's kind of cool. Looks like I did a quick calibration, and it's on. So you got the blue light on. So I got the camera mounted, it's plugged in, powered on. I'm now going to download the application here. So I clicked on the link here, and you got two things. You got the link controller and the firmware. So you could download Mac or Windows, and here is the latest version firmware if you want to download that. But I think you could do the firmware update inside the controller. So I'm going to hit download. All right, so it looks like it downloaded the execution file. I'm going to execute it. I'm going to give it permission to make changes. Let's do English. I accept the agreement, which no one ever reads. And then privacy policy. And then I'll just install it in the default. So I was playing around with it, so it's just ignore this part here. And I want to create a desktop shortcut. Okay, so now it's extracting the files. Restarting application. So I'm going to tell it to launch. So that's the installation there. Looks like the camera is rebooting. And it's back on with the green light. Okay, so let's see. This is the first time the software is it's running. So let me close the browser here, and let's see. Click to turn on auto tracking. Okay, you can do that. Click there. Whiteboard mode, top-down view, and desktop view. And these are the gestures, and there's like a little video too. So auto tracking is the palm. Zoom is L. And then whiteboard is like a peace sign. Okay, that's cool. All right, let me just open this up a little bit bigger for you guys. Okay, so there you see me. Looks like on lower left corner. When using Link with other software, please turn off preview in Link controller. Okay, so that probably, if you're using a controller, you could turn off the video to save on system resources. So that's kind of cool to get that feature. You could change your resolutions here. I'm gonna do 4K because I like 4K. And then let's look at some of the key features on this app here. So gimbal control, upper left corner. So it looks like you control your gimbal here. Okay, so gimbal control, drag. Okay, you could drag it on a monitor, or you could use a zoom on a wheel. Okay, so you could use the onboard on-screen navigation here. It looks like, so you can use it, move it around, go up, down, and zoom in. Or a lot quicker, you could just use the mouse here to move around. You could use the mouse wheel to zoom in and out. So yeah, so it's pretty cool. And as you can see from the lower right hand corner, the camera is moving. So it's not like other software based, like Logitech has a software based PTZ zoom. It's a little bit different because the camera itself is fixed, but it's using software to do the zooming and moving, pretty much cropping the image. In this case, it's your true image that you're getting from the webcam, because as you can see, when you're moving it around, since it's on a gimbal, the camera moves with it. So your image quality will always be the best, which is awesome. And it's pretty responsive too. It's pretty fast, as you can see. So pretty happy there. You can set presets. So I got a home one preset already. So that's home. So basically, pretty much if you want to save a preset, say I want to zoom into my awesome water bottle. You find the place where you want to save the preset, and then you hit the plus sign, and then you just rename it whatever you want. Water bottle. Done. Let's say you want to do another preset. Zoom into my Shure microphone. So find the preset that you want, hit the plus, rename your mic. Okay, so those are my 3 presets. So if I want to go home, I'm home. Easy. Water bottle, boom. Man, it's really fast too. Mic, boom, there, done. So that's pretty cool. So it gets to each scene really fast, which is pretty awesome there. So that's your PTZ function. Really easy to use, really intuitive. They made it really simple to use to set your presets and whatnot. And you can always right click, rename, delete, or update the position of the camera. So that's your preset. So image controls, so you got pretty much your standard options here. You could do auto exposure. You could turn it off and move the auto exposure however you want here. Control your ISO. You even can control your shutter speed. So that's pretty cool, but I'll leave that to auto. You got your compensation here, so you can adjust your compensation on auto mode as well. You got auto white balance, where you could play with the color temperature. You can play with your brightness and contrast as well, along with your saturation and sharpness. So yeah, and you can save your presets, it looks like. I'm going to reset it. So I think if you save your preset, when you restart the app, it's going to remember the preset. But if you don't, it will probably reset everything. So the next thing, so that's all your exposures, your white balance, and all that stuff. So you could adjust it in the app here. And the more settings, this is where the camera really shines. This is all the special things that you can do with the camera as you use it. So let's go ahead and check out some of the gesture settings. Auto tracking, zoom, whiteboard. It uses gestures, it auto tracks, and you can do really a bunch of fun stuff with it. Okay, so now let's look at some of the advanced settings for this camera. So now we're on the more settings section on the menu here. And as you can see, you have gesture settings. So you can turn these on to do gestures with your hands to activate auto tracking, zoom, and whiteboard. Then you got the tracking setting speed, normal. You can enable auto tracking. Link will start tracking when you manually adjust the gimbal towards someone. Enable single tap tracking, single tap link to start stop tracking. And you got your AI zoom here where you can zoom on the head, half body, whole body. You also have anti flicker here, autofocus, manual focus, streamer mode, what's the streamer mode? Enable portrait mode. Okay. So this is if you want to do portrait mode, 9:16. We also have HDR, uh, mirror image, and firmware version. I got the latest firmware here, but if there's a new firmware, it should pop up here on the software, and then you should be able to just hit a button and update it through the firmware. Quick side note, if you do update from firmware, be sure you run this app on admin mode. So you just, before you open the app and double click on the icon, just right click and go run as admin. So you want to make sure you run as admin when you update the firmware. And then you got the serial number here, and then reset button here. So yeah, so that's the controls here, the more advanced controls. So let's go ahead and see what the auto tracking, zoom, and whiteboard can do. So you have the options to click on it down here on the bottom menu. As I stated before, you got tracking, whiteboard. So if you do tracking, obviously it will track. And then you could declick if you want to turn it off, and then it will just go to your preset that you set. Whiteboard, overhead mode, and desktop view. So let's play with the gestures. So if I want to turn on auto tracking, according to here, let's see. Auto tracking, you want to just raise your palm right here. And they say don't cover your face, just raise your palm. So I'm going to go ahead and raise my palm like that. Okay. Yep, you see it blink blue. So that signifies that auto tracking is on, that it switched over, and then it flashed back to green. So yeah, so now it's tracking me. So if I walk around the room, it's tracking me. So auto tracking is pretty cool. So it tracks pretty good with the gimbal. They also have, if you look on the right hand side here, AI zoom, and you could tell it to zoom head. So when it zooms head, it'll get most of your upper body and your head. You could do half body, so it'll zoom out, and then you could do whole body. So let's try head. So I'm gonna go ahead and walk around here with my head. That's head. And then let's do half body. So you see half body here. Wow, it works pretty good. And then you have whole body. So the AI zoom and the head, half body, it works really good. Software is phenomenal on that. The tracking is just bonkers. It's crazy, and it does it really fast too. So most people will probably have it on their head. So I'm going to leave it on my head right now. And if you want to turn off the function, you just raise your palm again, and then It blinks blue, as you can see, and green light turns off. So that's the auto tracking feature, which is really awesome if you're a teacher walking around teaching with a whiteboard. You could do whiteboard mode, and then you can have the camera follow you around as you walk and present, or presentation, business meetings, same thing. Presentations. The use for this is phenomenal. So that's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and take a look at the zoom feature. Zoom, you raise your hand up, like kind of like this. Okay, so let's test that out. So I'm gonna do whole body tracking again. So I'm gonna put my palm up. So tracking. So I'm gonna stand up. I'm gonna try to zoom. So the zooming works pretty good. Depending on where your arm is at on a zoom, that's pretty much signify how much it could go in and out. Even here, I think I could probably zoom. Yeah. But it's kind of out of frame. But yeah, the zooming works pretty good too on the gesture there. So that's pretty cool. So when you're walking around, you don't have to worry about using a mouse to zoom in and out. You could pretty much just use a gesture for the zooming. So that works pretty good too. The last thing is the whiteboard. So I got a small whiteboard, so we'll test that out. It's a tiny one, as you can see. So I put the markers as they wanted right here on all corners. It's right here. So I just double taped the markers on each corner so it could signify, so it could recognize the whiteboard. And this is a small one. I'm not sure if this is going to work, but I'm just going to prop it behind here. It might need better lighting, so let me turn on one of the lights. Okay, so my mic's in the way, so I'm going to move that out of the way so you probably won't hear me. But let's see. The gesture for the whiteboard is, I think it's a peace sign. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and do a peace sign when I move this mic out of the way, and let's see if it gets the whiteboard. There you go. So now I am going to use the peace sign to get back out of the whiteboard mode. So I'm out. So I'm going to try to see if it recognizes the whiteboard with just 2 of the whiteboard identifier. And it looks like with 2 in view, it still finds the whiteboard and zooms in on it. And you can tell the camera's on whiteboard mode with the yellow light around the camera. Okay, so now I'm going to try it without any of the whiteboard identifiers and see if it will pick it up. So I just flashed the whiteboard gesture. It's looking. Yellow light is blinking, signifying it's looking for it. And I think it will fail because it doesn't see any of the... Yep, right there. So you get that error message if it can't find a whiteboard. So from my test, it looks like you need at least 2 of those identifiers in frame for the camera to actually pick it up, as you can see here. There you go. That's pretty cool that it still recognizes it even with 2 of the whiteboard identifiers. So that was the whiteboard feature. It works pretty good, even on this little whiteboard. If you notice, I was playing around with it a little bit. These um, need to be in frame. If it needs to detect at least two of them. If it only detects one, it didn't work. But if it just detects two and you trigger the whiteboard, it actually finds it. And as you can see from the demonstration, and it actually found the whiteboard. So you have to have at least two of these in frame, just to let you know. But if all four is in frame, it works perfectly. Even two, it works good. It found it and zoomed right in. So whiteboard is friggin' awesome on this thing. So the last view that we got is desktop view. So this camera is cool in the sense that you don't have to move your webcam around. You could just leave it on top of your monitor. And when you do a desk view mode, you just hit this button here. There's no gesture for it, and the reason why is because they figure you're in front of your computer already, and you don't need a gesture if you're in front of your computer. So when you hit the desktop mode here, you see the camera, it points down at like a 45-degree angle, and then you could pretty much see the desktop view here. Even though the camera is angled, it kind of shows you it redoes the images so it looks like you're looking down on your desk here. So yeah, this is desktop view, and then you can make your adjustments with the camera here to straighten it out. And yeah, it works pretty good. Camera, as you can see, is still mounted on my monitor, and you can see my keyboard here. If you want to see like a document, I have a magazine here. So if you're demonstrating or you want to show someone something, here is the magazine, and as you can see, you could read through it. It shows the magazine really well. So desktop view works pretty good, as you can see. So my desk here, this desk is mainly made for just computer work. I don't have much room, as you can see. So if you need more depth, you could move your monitor back, and it'll get more of the desk. But as you can see, it got cut off here. But if you have a desk that has more depth, it's definitely will work a lot better here. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. So if you're showing anyone anything with your hands here, you could pretty much, use the camera that way, and it works pretty good. So that is desk view. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys my overhead setup, since I'm going to be using this cam mainly for like product unboxing and reviews on my small table here. So I have it mounted, as you can see, on this device here, and right now it's looking down. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on the camera, and I think it based off how it's mounted, I believe the camera has intelligence, where it knows what you're doing with the camera, at what angle you're putting it at, and it will kind of adjust itself. So let's see what it does. So I'm going to go ahead and plug it in now. Okay, so it's booting. Okay, so as you can see, it's now looking directly at me. So the camera definitely has some intelligence, where it knows how it's being mounted, and it detected that it was mounted overhead. And as you can see, it even went into privacy mode in this position. So it's a pretty smart camera, where if you do mount it this way and you're not using it, it goes down to privacy mode there. So that is interesting. Okay, now I'm back in the software, as you can see, and I'm going to go ahead and click on a different mode now, and let's see it on overhead mode here. Okay, so as you can see, this is overhead mode, and right now The camera is just looking straight down at my little picture table. So as you can see, it's a little crooked. So I could use the software to adjust it to straighten it up. And I need to adjust my lighting a little because of the shadows, but yeah, that's pretty much overhead mode. So if you look, let me just straighten it up a little bit. Okay, there. So as you can see, camera here, straining point is looking straight down at the table, so it works as overhead mode. And pretty much, if you could change between this overhead mode and back up to face mode like this. So see, the camera is pretty intelligent and it knows what to do when you mount it in this particular direction. So this is just an example of overhead mode um, on this Insta360 Link camera. So yeah, so that's the camera, guys. This camera is really awesome. Um, I could see a lot of good uses for it. Education, business meeting, master classes. I mean, you don't need a cameraman. This is your cameraman. So so yeah, that is pretty much the demonstration part and the software usage of the Insta360 Link. So this webcam is really awesome. Um, so I think that's pretty much it. That covers everything. We did the unboxing, software install, went through the options there. So yeah, we are good to go, guys. So yeah, thank you for watching as always.